Just 1 year ago, Edinburgh Airport became an independent company when their owners, BAA, were forced to sell.
There's a lot of people that worked here that no longer work here. That puts you on edge a little.
Since the new owners, GIP, moved in, things have changed.
Aviation is back in the 1970s in most places. It's a challenging environment, but it's starting at such a low base. It is a great opportunity to improve.
The airport has attracted several new carriers.
We're not a jazz band. Air Canada Rouge.
Virgin's Little Red adds 6 flights a day to London. And Turkish Airlines fly 9 times a week to Istanbul, adding up to record-breaking passenger numbers.
We'd like the airport to be seen as the best airport in the world. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're the biggest.
And it is a tight squeeze.
The airport is rubbish, you can't cope.
At times, the old terminal building is bursting at the seams.
We're probably working about 250 to 300% above capacity now, with passengers actually backing out onto the tarmac now.
To accommodate the massive increase in passengers, expansion plans are brought forward.
Essentially, where all those windows are in the terminal building, there'll be a large 2-storey box.
But with retail and profits flying high, could everything be brought crashing down by an airport's smallest foe? It's the start of another busy day at Edinburgh Airport.
What is it you're eating there? What is it?
I have reasons and what is it called? Special K.
It's healthy. That's what it is. That's what it is.
More than 300 flights will take off or land here today.
George, can you give me that pen?
Yeah.
Oh, I got it. Okay.
Ground control are responsible for ensuring that the runway remains operational.
Now, I'm running out of stands, and at the moment, I'm managing to keep the 2 Jet 2s over, but I've got an EasyJet now going on 208, which is mental, but looking at the stand plan...
Their biggest concern is wildlife crossing aircraft flight paths.
Our number one risk to the continuity of the airfield is bird strike. So it's important that we control the wildlife and the birds to maintain the operation that we do, because without the runway, we're a shopping centre.
The pilot of a passenger plane from Frankfurt has radioed in, reporting a suspected bird strike in the starboard engine.
Airside operations. You want to keep us informed about how it's going?
It's a possibility that Scott Watson, senior manager at ground control, is always alert to.
Birds can do an enormous amount of damage to the aircraft, basically making it drop out the sky in a matter of minutes. Gulls, because of their size and how they fly very slow, and they're usually up to about 4 pounds in weight. It's probably the most dangerous bird that an aircraft could hit.
A similar situation brought down US Airways flight 1549 in the Hudson River.
That's all right, that's all right, that's all right.
This time, the plane has safely touched down. But for the hundreds of passengers waiting in the terminal building, booked on the return flight, it means the news no one likes to hear.
May I have your attention, please? This is an announcement for passengers travelling on delayed service LH417 to Frankfurt. This flight has now been delayed due to technical reasons, and following information will be available in 2 hours.
On the tarmac, it's now up to Ashley Wilkes to determine the extent of the damage.
Birds and blood splattering all over the wings. I think about 6 birds going into this engine. And maybe about 3 others have hit the wing out there, which I've now cleared off. But I think we can easily say that the birds come off worse.
Thankfully, the engine escaped intact, and the clear-up job is just cosmetic. But it certainly won't be the last bird strike that airside staff will have to deal with.
I did 2 last week, and this is the first one this week, but I think it seems to be worse in the summer when there's more birds about.
Keeping planes and their passengers moving through the airport quickly is a complex challenge, especially when mistakes could have severe consequences. CEO Gordon Dewar is proud of the airport's exemplary safety record, but it comes with a hefty price tag attached.
There's some big costs that are peculiar to airports. We've got a very substantial investment in our fire service. We've obviously got to have a safe operation of the aircraft, so we've got our air traffic control services, and obviously there's a lot of equipment, a lot of very highly skilled staff, which doesn't come cheaply. So yeah, there's a whole host of things that airports have to pick up that other businesses don't. But that's part and parcel of what we do. We just have to make sure that every penny we spend is spent well.
Like every airport, the new owners have to offset these costs by maximising profits from the shops. And they have 40 on site.
Airports work best, we believe, on our concession model, where instead of charging rent for some floor space, we believe that it's better if we have a share of turnover. If people are standing in queues in security, then they're not buying coffee in the departure lounge. So we are incentivised to ensure that people spend as little time as possible in queues and instead spend their time relaxing and enjoying the services and products we offer. Every penny we can make out of concession or voluntary spend is a penny less I have to charge the airlines, and therefore we can be more competitive when we're trying to attract airlines to come to Edinburgh.
As part of this business model, the new owners are investing £150 million into the airport. The aim is more space, more passengers, more shops, and hopefully more profit. But 50 years ago, this busy airport operated at a slightly more sedate pace. The runway was once part of the road network, and the B9080 had to be closed for landings and takeoffs. The departure lounge was a cafe with a view of the airfield accompanied by a single shop.
So 50 years ago, this was the retail offer here at Edinburgh Airport. I think it just demonstrates how things have changed. And things have changed because people's demands have changed as well. So, our customers that come through here now demand more than one shop that sells a few newspapers and a cup of coffee.
Today, the commercial team are experimenting with a number of new pop-up displays to increase passing trade and flog more whiskey. The current favourite? A round of video golf.
This is our experiential space that we work with duty free to give our customers something different in the terminal. Glenmorangie, for example, have put this in for the Golf Open that just finished last Sunday.
Mixing two of Scotland's biggest exports is proving to be a masterstroke, though they wouldn't encourage drinking and driving anywhere else in the terminal.
The reason it's situated here, this is the main passenger flow, so it's a nice central area in the lounge. The malt houses that go on these units tend to see between a 500 and 600% uplift in sales. So it's really good for them. It's definitely worth it.
Thank you. Going for a shot.
I know. I'm not a golfer.
The management team have to believe there is more commercial potential in the terminal building.
Excuse me, I'm doing a little survey for Edinburgh Airport. May I ask you a few questions while you're sitting here?
Sure.
All right.
And the key to unlocking it? Understanding what the modern traveller really wants.
Are you travelling today for business, leisure, or to visit friends and family?
Leisure.
Leisure.
We do about 900 surveys per month at the airport.
I think that what you're missing probably is a different, slightly variety of shops.
And have you used the toilet facilities?
I have.
And the spaciousness?
Excellent.
Room to get around with your hat? And how long did it take?
We get a report every month, and that's circulated to the management team and a lot of the key players in the airport as well, so that we can sort of get a good picture of what our passengers are saying about the airport.
And overall, the ambience?
I don't like carpet.
I don't like carpet.
It's what Edinburgh Airport's all about at the moment. We're wanting to give a better experience to our passengers coming through the terminal, so we do a lot of customer analysis, and that's what we'll be basing our new retail offering on. on in the next 2 years.
And is there any comment you would like to make to Edinburgh Airport?
Bring the elbow back.
Airside, the pressure is on to keep the flight paths clear for their ever-expanding fleet of aircraft.
Operations. Right, catch you later.
Cheers. See you later.
So the ground team undertake a little-known technique to keep bird strikes to a minimum.
Certainly a lovely morning. Here you go. Some people would call me a murdering you-know-what. The last thing we want's a bird strike with a gull.
Bird strikes cost the aviation industry over £700 million a year, so they're not taking any chances. And their best man is on the job.
In the ops department, I'm the most successful shooter we've got. We are #1 in Britain, if not the world, for bird control. I feel I'm part of that, and it's great. I enjoy it. Gulls are a pain in the arse. I killed over 1,000 birds last year. To me, it's a piece of pish. Lesser blackback. One less to bother us. Horrible bloody things. Got a shotgun for my mum for my birthday when I was about 14-year-old. In the local village, I used to go out and shoot rabbits, pigeons. So it's something I've done ever since. So it's great. I love it. I love this job. I'd almost do it for nothing. Almost. All right, so it's 1. That's runway 12 vacated, Alpha 17.
Brilliant. Thanks, John. Cheers. Bye-bye. My friends like to say, "Get off my land," when they're talking about the firearms, because they think we're like farmers. They just think we go out there and we're having fun.
Birds.
But it's not fun, it's important.
I think my mate, he introduces me to his friends as, "This is George, he's a bird scarer at Edinburgh Airport," and then leaves it at that.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, no, there's more to it than that. There's more to it than that.
There's more to it than that, yeah.
Yuck. See, we've got a couple of buzzards down there on the fence. Culling them, it's kind of hard because you've got to be very careful. You've got the public to think of.
But a shotgun isn't the only weapon in the ground team's armoury.
I'll see if I can shift them with a pyrotechnic. Certainly not for moving.
And if all else fails, it's time to break out the secret weapon.
So we've also got the digital scarecrow. Put that on, it gives off a distress call of the species of birds. There we go. Just pushes them back, further back. Personally, I prefer using the shotgun. Once they're dead, they don't come back, they don't bother us. But that's me.
The ground team track the 9.5 mile perimeter 365 days a year to reduce the wildlife risk.
I suppose it's a bit like the Forth Road Bridge. You start at one end, once you get to one side, you start again. It's never ending. As long as there's birds and planes, you've to keep at it. It's a damn near impossible job, but